forgive the past, move on, and live in today. You cannot have a wonderful today if you're holding on to the misery of the past, or even the good of the past, or you're terrified of the future. You know, the people that talk about the good old days and how wonderful it was and it isn't good now, remember, you've created both realities. And if you created good days at one point in your life, you can do it again, even if today is not that good. Get a hold of your thinking. Start to do conscious living, conscious. You know, life is simple if we let it be, but we make it so complicated. But if we really just understand that what we think is what we get, what you believe is what will show up in your life. But your thinking, that's all changeable. It can move. See, what is the reality that we create for ourselves? I love these two images. Do we live in a dungeon of limitation, or do we live in a palace of possibilities? I like to feel that where I am is the totality of possibilities of all good. Not just yes or no or this or that. You know, we live and think in limited human mind thinking. It has to be this way or that way, or if I can't work this way, how can it happen? Well, the universe is incredibly smarter than we are and has the totality of possibilities to supply us with everything we desire, as long as we can believe that we deserve it. See, when we change our thinking, we change our lives because we drop our limitations. Limitations are what it's all about. And we all have that place within us where we can do things that we did not know we could do. But we have to give ourselves a chance. You know, I like to think of our thoughts like drops of water. One thought does not mean very much. It's like one drop of water on this stage. But I'm told that we think about 60,000 thoughts a day. And unfortunately, most of them are the thoughts we had yesterday, and the day before, and the day before, and the day before. But you know, if you think of these thoughts keep dropping and dropping, 60,000 a day, pretty soon you can have a little puddle, a little pond, a small lake, almost an ocean. And if our thinking is negative, we can drown in a sea of negativity, or we can float on the ocean of life. It is up to us totally. Once you see what you believe, you'll know the things that support you and are very good and powerful for you, and you will also see the things that are undermining you, the beliefs that are keeping you from having what you say you want. So many of us live in the limitations of our past consciousness, the limitations of our parents' belief systems, the limitations of the schools, the teachers at school, limitations of the church. There are so many things that we have in there. And I like to use as an affirmation, I go beyond the limitations of my parents or whatever. I go beyond that now. Because, you know, even if you had the best parents in the world, they had limitations. And you want to create the most powerful life you can possibly create for yourself. We want to sort of unplug our circuits. It's like there's parts of it that have almost like tubes connected to the past, to the bondage of the past. And we want to bring those back in, call our spirits back, call our power back. Because as long as we are in bondage to the past, we cannot make changes in the future. Loving yourself is the most powerful thing we can do. Then everything flows.
Everything flows beautifully. And I'm not talking about vanity or arrogance, because that is not love. That's always fear. I'm talking about just really respecting and appreciating this incredible, magnificent being that we are. You know, little babies know how to love themselves. You were born in pure love, all of you. There's not one little baby alive that I know of that ever criticizes its body. They're just thrilled and delighted that they have a body. And they rejoice in it. And they love themselves. They love their toes. They love everything about themselves. They absolutely adore, they express their feelings. You know, when a baby is happy, you know it. When a baby is angry, the whole neighborhood knows it. They're never scared to let people know how they feel. They live in the moment, and they're filled with courage, and they're wonderful. And we were all like that. Got to remember that you were filled with courage, and you were full of love, and you adored yourself when you were very little. That everything you think and everything you speak goes out from you into the universe and comes back to you multiplied. It's almost as though the universe is listening to everything you say and everything you think and saying, oh, that's what they want. But most of the time, we are talking very negatively about ourselves. We talk about how awful we are, we're not good enough, we can't get this, we can't get that. How can the universe bring you anything good if that's the way you're talking? There is a law of thinking, and we are beginning to learn about it. And it is like a computer. If you have this gorgeous computer put in front of you, and you don't know what to do with it, it's a piece of junk. But if you learn the language of the computer, miracles happen. And that is what the law of thinking is. When you learn how it works, miracles happen. What you think and what you believe is what will come true for you. Your thoughts create your life. It's that simple. And when we can get that, we can make enormous changes. But number one on that list of how to love yourself is to stop all criticism. Just stop it, now and forevermore. And make a vow to yourself that you're going to do your very best from now on to stop criticizing, number one, you, and then other people. It'll be a lot easier to stop criticizing other people when you stop criticizing yourself. Now, number two on that list is stop scaring yourself. And here we go into fear. How often do you terrorize yourself with your own thoughts? You get into absolute terror, and it's only coming from your thoughts. Nobody out there is doing a thing. Sometimes it's an old family pattern, sometimes we get new things. How many people here are absolutely in terror of earthquakes? And how often do you do that to yourself? You know, we find so many ways to scare ourselves. I would like people, when you have time, to make a list of your fears. Make a list of your fears. And then give yourself the opportunity to turn each fear into a positive affirmation. Turn each one into something positive. And remember, always you are in charge. You are always in charge. See, one idle thought doesn't make a whole lot of difference. It's like but thoughts are like drops of water. You drop a drop of water on the table here, and it doesn't mean much. But if you keep dropping and keep dropping and keep dropping, you get, the table becomes a wash, and then you get a puddle on the floor, and then you can get a little pond and a lake, and finally you can create an ocean. And with our own thoughts, we can drown in a sea of negativity, or we can float on the ocean of life. And it's up to us. The thoughts we think accumulate. And what sort of puddles are you standing in? Or are you up to here? Or are you up to here and trying to paddle? You know, what are you doing to yourself? When we're willing to change our thinking, we can change our experiences. And it doesn't matter if you've got a big puddle of negative thoughts. You know, you can move over here and create a puddle of marvelous positive thoughts. You can make changes, always. So you want to turn those fear thoughts into positive affirmations. Let them work for you.